Love the Whelen Modified Tour, and hats off to David Miller Jr. and everybody associated with USNE Power.
And a big salute to all the fans here tonight, too.
What a great
we have
crowd.
Absolutely packed the dog for the Duel at the Dog, the 4th annual event, which back in 2022, I believe had Justin Bonsignor break through as the champion of that race. Doug Coby was the 2023 champion, and then last year Trevor Catalano picked up his very first NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour win, as we pointed out here tonight. But talk about momentum. The front row have all of it. You have Austin Beers on the inside, coming off that three-peat at Lancaster to win one at a racetrack at a NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour event. That's one thing. To back it up, that's something crazy. To do 3 in a row at your home track, that's just something that's nearly unheard of.
Yes, absolutely is the case. So let's take a quick look at the lineup as we are taking a look at the field. Now, remember, they've spun the wheel. They did the redraw, and in less than 4 circuits, we'll be able to fire everybody up and get everybody pumped up. And you know what's important is we ask the fans to be so much a part of the pre-race and, of course, the presentation of the drivers, their crew chiefs, and the crew members.
And isn't it so fun?
It is.
You know, it really adds to the atmosphere of that. And we have one more request for you in
a big one.
About a minute. So you've had no problem fist bumping these guys. You've had no problem snapping selfies with them. You've had no problem getting on your feet for your favorite driver. But in the matter of just a few moments, we're going to have you find a way to connect with your favorite driver in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour and salute them with the wave off lap. Austin Beers on the pole. To the outside, Kyle Bonsignor. And Bonsignor is one of the drivers full of momentum coming into this race.
And row number 2, Patrick Emerling. Alongside of Patrick Emerling, Justin Bonsignor. Then in the 5th position, car number 17. That, of course, is, well, not a dark horse in this event, a contender, Anthony Nocella. And the 25 car will be starting in the 6th position, as it will be a big factor as well.
This is a spectacle. USNE presenting the Duel at the Dog, and what has become an institution here in the Monadnock Mountains. And ladies and gentlemen, starting in turn number 3, on your feet, find the driver that you connect with the most and send them on their way. You know the drill. Take out your phones, wave your hat. Drivers starting in turn 3 all the way through turn 4 and up on your feet on the front straightaway. The wave off lap. Drivers, we salute you.
And everybody is up and out of their seats, applauding and yelling and stomping their feet. We are moments away from the event that we have been waiting for quite some time. There's no question, Mother Nature zapped the original date, but today, under an ideal setting, the high banks of Monadnock for the running of this, the Duel at the Dog, and there they are. The men and machinery about to be put to the test. 200 laps on a quarter-mile racetrack.
You just wished them well, and we are moments away from them at full throttle competition. 25 of the fastest modified drivers in the Northeast, ready to do battle with Sean Houlihan on the flag stand, and our honorary starter, Robin Bly from Whelen Engineering. Pace truck pulls off a pit road, and Ben Dodge. Let's go modified racing.
Well, we are ready. They head down the back straightaway. It is Austin Beers on the inside. Kyle Bonsignor outside of row number 1. Here they come. Ladies and gentlemen, the main event of competition, the Duel at the Dog, is underway here at Monadnock.
This is what you paid for. Turn number 3. Oh, Brian Roby sideways. Caution flag is out. Roby got out of shape going into the corner, and everybody, an accordion-like effect. Fortunately, it looks like everybody's going to drive away just fine, but Brian Roby, one of the local favorites.
And unfortunately, the Bar Harbor Bank machine not quite sure. We kind of caught the tail end of it. Let's take a look at the replay for those of you watching on Flow. Roby is in the outside lane. Looks like there was perhaps a little contact. When the contact was made, Roby tried to correct. It upset the car. Did a good job of getting it out of harm's way. Brian Roby picked up major sponsorship from Bar Harbor Bank and Trust. He has won a lot of events this season, competing at Claremont and competing here at Monadnock, where he runs what they call a crate modified. Today, he's behind the wheel of his Whelen modified tour car, and he was very confident going in. All laps count. We want to remind everybody of that situation as we continue to remain under caution. Safety services, race control, checking with things here. And one thing we do know, we're not going to have a green to checker race here today.
No, I'm not sure if it's going to go the other way. I think with the amount of cars that we have on this track, it was scheduled to be 28, but we had a couple of cars hit some attrition before we even hit the green flag here tonight. So we're down to 25, which is still on a quarter-mile racetrack where you're turning sub-12-second laps. That's a lot of ground.
It sure is. And we want to mention that Matt Kimball, one of the hometown favorites here, just secured an impressive victory at this racetrack with this same race car. They had a problem with the engine, forcing him out of the competition early. So kind of a heartbreaker there as well. So a couple of casualties are part of it. And you're looking at a great shot as the modifieds come at you and try to get some heat in the tire.
You have Kyle Bonsignor, who's going to restart in third position, making his 100th start here in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. It's hard to believe that amount of time has passed for a driver who's always been on the cusp of greatness, and I think at times overshadowed by his cousin Justin, but not in the last 3 weeks.
You're certainly right about that. And Cam McDermott and his dad, they helped prepare these cars and a couple of other cars in the racing as well. And of course, they're really dialed in. And I talked to Cam earlier today, and he said he feels now that they have found something that makes them click as a team. And that team effort is all the difference.
We'll talk more about that as the night roars on, as the Monadnock Speedway pace truck pulls off a pit road. Again, 6 laps in the books for this one. All the laps count. Austin Beers will be your pole sitter, followed by Patrick Emmerling, who picked up the most recent victory here at Monadnock Speedway for the Tour. US&E Duel with the Dog 200 restarts, this time off of turn number 4. Sean Houlihan waves the green flag, and we're underway.
Pretty much evenly matched. They head down off turn number 2. It is Patrick Emmerling with a strong move to the outside lane. It appears that even though sparks will fly, even though we are 1 lap in, now looking at another circuit, it all of a sudden appears that the outside lane is hooking up.
Yeah, Austin Beers had a big scary moment that time, or last time, in turn number 4. Sparks shooting out of the right front of the number 64. Didn't affect his speed. He gathers it back up, but he's got a mirror for Kyle Bonsignor. Big trouble, turn number 2. They gather it back up. It involves Matt Hirschman, though.
Hard to believe Matt Hirschman would be involved in a jingle this early in the race. You're looking at Justin Bonsignor running to the outside of Austin Beers. Now, this is not only a bid for that position, but remember the importance of the points in this one. Kyle Bonsignor trying to pick a lane. That pink and black machine on the inside, trying to move up. Bonsignor couldn't complete the pass. Austin Beers back into second.
Kyle Bonsignor had full faith in his team during the weeks when the car would run into issues, or the driver would run into issues, and they said if we did not have raw speed, I would have given this up a long time ago, but the speed and the luck finally came around, and once they've had a little racing luck, they've been lights out. They're now in the top 10 of the point standings and can make a run at the top 5 here with this summer stretch. Kyle Bonsignor up to spot number 3. Everybody chases Patrick Emmerling back into turn number 1.
Good battle a little further back here. Here comes Anthony Nocella. Nocella with car number 17. Trying to fight off. That, of course, is Craig Lutz, the 46 car. Lutz has tried to make a bid on the outside. Couldn't do it. Now moving in on the bottom is Trevor Catalano. Catalano continues to dig hard in the bottom lane. Lutz looked very strong in that upper groove. That is not the case, but here comes Ronnie Silk, car 16.
I was about to say, you know who we haven't talked about at all tonight? That is Ronnie Silk, the two-time champion with 27 wins to his credit in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, is following suit behind young Trevor Catalano. Now, it was last year that these drivers were running nose to tail in a fierce battle that Catalano won, and Trevor did not appear in the front until late in the race. So he's got a fast race car again tonight, but don't be surprised if he lays down for just a little while and shines late in the event.
You're looking at a battle for the 6th, 7th, and 8th position. Leading that charge is Luke Baldwin up in the 5th spot, the black number 7 car. Before he came to this racetrack today, he said, I never saw the racetrack. I didn't know what it was about. I had no inclination. He's now running among the top 5 position, and he's got a gaggle of cars that are working him over. Will the youngster come through with a solid run here at Monadnock? First time is a charm.
And this is what Luke Baldwin does, adapt quickly to new situations. Talking to him a little bit earlier this afternoon, he said, we're just looking for consistency. We have 2 poles, we have a couple of really strong runs, but we've had some races where we've missed it a little bit, and that's what's all, that's what being a rookie's all about. And I think sometimes that gets lost in the shuffle with the early success that Luke has had. He is immortal, he is a rookie, he is seeing places for the first time, and these tracks like Monadnock are much different than the ones that he grew up around in the Mid-Atlantic area, where most racetracks aren't as backed as say, the Mad Dog.
They certainly are. And, of course, Stephen Kopsick in the number 21 car is also, you don't see him on your screen at this point, but he has emerged among the top 10 positions. Nobody is stepping out of line. You see competitors running 5th all the way back to 10th. Nose to tail and bumper to bumper. One false move will give some competitor the opportunity to make the transition.
Well,
coming up on Gary McDonald, lapped automobile to the bottom. That cost Anthony Nocella a little bit of valuable time.
These drivers are pacing themselves right now. I thought that Ron Silk might drop to the inside of Catalano a few laps ago, but we're going to let Anthony Nocella take the thunder away from that one. He looked to the inside of Luke Baldwin. Baldwin shut him down, used the lap car as the pick as they continue to roar down the front straightaway. That's the battle for 5th.
Certainly is, and what a great battle it is. Anthony Nocella ran this car, had success with it here at Monadnock in the last visit on the Whelen Modified Tour. He has not run all the races. He's a family man, got a family commitment. But he currently is applying heavy pressure to the black number 7, and that, of course, is the young Luke Baldwin, doing a great job. 4 cars have broken away. Then there's a little bit of a gap, and behind in that gap, it is also Greg Lutz, Stephen Kopsick, and now Tommy Catalano.
Ben, you mentioned that Anthony Nocella being a family man. Remember when he won at New Hampshire Motor Speedway and having that great family moment? That's what the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour is all about. 40 years strong. We have representatives from Whelen on hand here tonight at the Mad Dog supporting a series that they have given so much support to over the decades.
You know, we're talking about the battle that is really in hot pursuit from 5th all the way back to the 10th spot. Now, muscling his way to the inside, Ronnie Silk has moved in, picked up the spot from Trevor Catalano. Now, we have seen Silk make these type of moves before. He's coming to the front of the field. Now he sets his sight on that neon car, number 17, and that, of course, is Anthony Nocella.
Ron Silk is so good. Look at him down off of turn number 4, right on that yellow line, drifts out just a little bit, runs on the tire tracks, but seemingly at will can look down to the inside and take a few feet away from a competitor who's as strong as Nocella. That 16 car is not showing his full hand yet.
It certainly is not, and of course, you can see on entry of the turn, Anthony Nocella can go in a little bit deeper, but by the time they come off the turn, it is Ronnie Silk who's right there with him. And, of course, Trevor Catalano is now coming forward as well. Look at Silk testing the waters. Moves to the inside. Keep your eyes on it. Here comes Ronnie Silk. Anthony Nocella slams the door. Can't do it this time, but the heat is on.
You talk about heat. I want to take a look at the rotors on the 16 car when they go into turn number 1. Are they glowing already? Just a little bit. So he's certainly using up the race car, to get to the front, because he's got to go in a hurry. This is a quarter-mile racetrack, and Patrick Emmerling is already 2/3 of a racetrack ahead of this battle.
Certainly is. And you know, Anthony Nocella is doing exactly what he needs to do. He is running center of the racetrack at times to guard the position, and then of course Silk can move in to challenge. Lapped automobile to the inside. Car number 59 is the car. That is the Tyler Berry car. But meanwhile, here comes Silk.
Yeah.
Diamonds the turn, goes from the outside to the inside. Going, gone. Ron Silk has now picked up the spot. Silk is now up to the 6th position. Bounces Anthony Nocella back to 7th.
Not that we're making this the Ron Silk show, but I saw that move 2 laps before it happened, and Ronnie Silk probably plotted it 2 laps before we saw that it was going to happen. So a single pass on the racetrack that was 4 laps in the making. That's how methodical he is.
Let's take a look at Patrick Emmerling. He is the leader of the pack. He's coming around Brian Roby. And of course, ahead of them is Ebersol's number 5 car. Patrick Emmerling and Dale Hedquist. They found some magic. He likes this racetrack, and he runs exceptionally well. And when he is coming up on Matt Hirschman, that is a statement that cannot be ignored by any stretch of the imagination.
Austin Beers just out of your picture, having a rough race. We saw the sparks early on and had a near miss with Brian Roby just a lap ago as he tries to get around the lapped automobile. But again, to your point, as Patrick Emmerling has just found something in this race car. This team is now in year number 2 with Dale Hedquist running it, and they are about 4 steps ahead of where they were last year at this time. And if you remember, it was the Duel at the Dog, the mid-season stretch, where Patrick started running off all of those victories, including one here at Monadnock.
Certainly was, and of course, now Patrick Emmerling goes to the outside of Dave Zapienza with the number 36 car. Matt Hirschman is trying to stay with Emmerling. Why is that so important? Is because he needs to get that lap back with the lucky dog. There's no question, and he wants to be the car that is eligible for just that.
He doesn't want to be the lucky dog. He just wants to be on the lead lap. Look at this fierce battle off of turn number 2. Matt Hirschman is not going down without a fight. There's nearly contact on the backstretch.
Here it is all of a sudden Austin Beers now moves in. Will Beers be able to apply the pressure to the neighbor who lives next door, and that is Matt Hirschman? Caution flag comes out. This is our 2nd caution of the event.
And that's why Matt Hirschman was running so hard. He had a feeling the caution was going to come out as we have a stalled out vehicle. Looks like that Jean-Michael Chenette in car number 8.
And of course, we remind you, caution flag comes out, brought to you by the good folks from Whelen Engineering. First name and light sirens and safety services used throughout the world. Whelen Engineering, American made and proud of it. Whelen, trusted to protect first responders. So John Michael Chenette had a problem. Car goes to the inside of the racetrack. Apparently, the car comes to a screeching halt. You know, here at this speedway, we do not have what would be a formal pit road. And that means that backstage is where all the tire changing, all of the chassis adjustments, all of those things to get a car back out here and get a better setup to get to the front of the field. But you called it best, Matt Hirschman. He is no fool to playing every stretch of the game to his advantage. He knew how important it was. Hats off to his spotter, who must have said to him, you've got to be in the right position now. Don't wait. You've got to be there now.
And what if this was crucial in the $20,000 point fund?
And it could be.
For the Whelen Short Track Cup. So he stays on the lead lap as a result of digging it out, racing against Patrick Emmerling. And They adjust the car to wherever they need it to be. And then Matt Hirschman becomes Matt Hirschman again. And then, say we're on lap 60 now, say on lap 160 or 170, 180 in the closing stages of the race, all of a sudden Matt Hirschman's back in contention. He didn't lose the lap, and he has a chance to potentially sweep the weekend. You never know. That's kind of a big stretch. But the point is, a much better situation than he would have been had he not dug it out so hard.
Here's the story that we was telling you about. As the field heads to the pit area, it's time to pick and choose. And of course, our own Jacqueline Drake is down there looking at the action. Jacqueline, what do you see for us?
We've got lots of cars that have elected to come into pit road. Earlier, we saw the number 18 of Ken Hagee come down, who was dealing with some overheating issues on his car, but several coming in, making adjustments, some electing to do a tire, including the number 3 of Tyler Ripkema, as well as Luke Baldwin and others. Craig Lett's going to head back out onto the track. The number 1 team that you're looking at right here, Patrick Emmerling, did a little bit of a scare. They acted as if they were going to pit, but in fact, the one did not join on pit road.
Well, interestingly enough, already coming back out, it is Anthony Nocella with the Extreme number 17 car. Tyler Ripkema is back out. The Baldwin car returns to the competition. And of course, Craig Lutz with the Riverhead Building Supply number 46 car.
And these drivers aren't limited with the pit stops that they can make, too. They just have to change one tire, or are held to one tire per stop. So they have an allotment of 8 tires available in the race, obviously 4 on the race car and 4 that they can adjust, and then swap too. I mean, this is a different situation than we ran into last week at Lancaster, where there'll be more pit road action this week than there was last week.
You know, I agree with you on that situation. And there you're looking at, those of you watching on Flow, the number 60 car, the elite Bar Harbor Bank car of Matt Hirschman. Wenzel's car, number 81, makes it back out. One of the local cars, former champion at this facility as well, and just trying to get some seat time, as they said the story was.
And one of the things about Wenzel and Brian Roby and Matt Kimball, and we've seen a few others over the last couple of years, is the Whelen Short Track Cup was designed to be a ladder feeder to the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. There's such a jump from the crate modifieds to the Tour. This is the pinnacle of modified racing, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, and it was daunting for a lot of those local drivers to make that jump. But a few, Matt Kimball being one, Brian Roby being another, felt that if they were a part of another points championship to raise their, well, they could certainly raise some money or win some money in those 3 or 4 races, but raise their profile to attract some other sponsorship for more opportunities. We've seen that happen a number of times.
We certainly have. At this particular racetrack, we've seen it happen a lot. There is a lot of talent that comes out of these bull rings, and now we see the Hirschman car making the pass around.
This could be a change in the race.
Certainly could be, and look at the front row. Patrick Emmerling along with Austin Beers in the outside. Parabon-Seniors on the row number 2.
And look who's 5th. Ron Silk has moved up nicely inside the top 5. We get the green, and the USNE Duel with the Dog is back underway.
Patrick Emmerling slipped up the racetrack just a bit. Austin Beers guards the spot. And now, all of a sudden, Kyle Bonsignor and Justin Bonsignor become the tag team partners trying to get to the front of the field. Emmerling trying to hold on desperately at the front of the pack.
Well, he's running in the middle groove, and that's not going to work for Kyle Bonsignor. He's going to try to make it 3 wide. If he doesn't do it this time, I'm sure he's setting him up for the next time. And Ronnie Silk is right there. And there goes Bonsignor to the inside. It's Kyle who stays put, rides in 3rd. Austin Beers in a full-speed pace lap off of turn number 2.
No question about it. Ronnie Silk waiting in that 5th position. Off the turn, outside lane. Beers slips up just a bit. That gives Kyle Bonsignor the advantage to take over 2nd. Will it stick at the line? It suddenly is still Austin Beers back in second. His car starts to loosen up now, but meanwhile, back in the 4th position, here comes Ronnie Silk. Car number 16 is coming to the front with a vengeance.
All you got to do lately is give Kyle Bonsignor a sniff of the lead, put him inside the top 5, and he's ready to do work. The car has been able to stay under him. He has the confidence and the luck to go and match what speed that car has already had and always had for the last year and a half. But they finally put together a string of really good runs to launch him into the top 10 of the point standings. He's looking for a top 5 by the end of the summer. Kyle Bonsignor up into 3rd in start number 100 on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour.
Well, the top 7 cars have been single file. Another car that is moving forward is car number 3. That car is making its presence known for a while at Tyler Ripkema. There is a good battle going on right there between the number 06 car of Sammy Ramos. Ramos is there. He tries to have Brian Roby stick with him as they're coming on the inside. They've got 2 cars that are working well to the bottom. Not very long ago, Justin Bonsignor was holding on to the top 5, and now all of a sudden things are starting to change.
Pulling it off of turn number 4, Ronnie Silk give him position number 3. Methodically making his way through the field, hasn't touched anybody all night, but been ultra patient. And we're only 78 laps through the Duel of the Dog. Ronnie Silk is going to be a force to be reckoned with before the halfway marker if he continues. He's chasing Austin Beers into the corner.
There's no question about it. His times are really getting closer and closer. Last circuit by, only 2 cars in the 11-second bracket, 1st and 2nd, and then Ronnie Silk is right there. It still remains Patrick Emmerling over Austin Beers and Ron Silk.
One thing about Ron Silk, he has led a ton of laps here at Monadnock Speedway. 325 laps. He's been around this racetrack a number of times, 13 full races, but he's never broken through to victory lane, this being the 14th time at Monadnock. Does the dry spell break here tonight?
Meanwhile, we're looking at both of the Bonsignors in a dogfight battle for the 4th and 5th position. Just in front of them, heavy lap traffic is on the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Bonsignor makes it through. Meanwhile, Austin Beers' car is still setting in 2nd, within striking distance with Patrick Emmerling. And there is that battle up front. Emmerling strings it out. 4/10. He had the lead on the last circuit. Comes off the turn like a rocket, Andy, but going into the turn, Beers can kind of close up that gap ever so slightly.
I tell you, the momentum in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour is something fierce. And Ben, you watch a lot of these races. You ever feel that when someone like Emmerling hits on what they hit on, it's dangerous for the rest of the field? You have Emmerling and Hedquist. They were unstoppable last midsummer. If they get on a similar run, if you take away the 2 races where they had some issues, White Mountain would be one of them, and they were a top 3 car until they had, I think it was a fuel pump issue or something.
Yep,
but still, they've been a top 3 car basically every single week. At Seacon, they were battling with Justin Bonsignor for 2nd on the last lap. Had that wreck, was regulated to a 13th place finish. So without those finishes, Emmerling's your point leader.
You know, right now, the big story has become between Austin Beers. He was once on the back bumper of the leader, Patrick Emmerling. Meanwhile, Ron Silk is in a zone of his own, closing up that gap. Then there's a big margin, about, well, a full straightaway distance on the front straightaway that separate them for a while. Meanwhile, Kyle Bonsignor is still holding off Justin, and directly behind them is Trevor Catalano, now in the 6th spot, and Luke Baldwin is back up to 7th with Steven Kopsick in 8th.
Boy, the youth movement is strong, and look at the 56 and the number 7, couple of teenagers battling there. It's Luke Baldwin in his very first Monadnock race, giving it to last year's winner, Trevor Catalano. Catalano will acquiesce and run in the second groove, give the spot to Luke Baldwin in the corner.
There's no question about it. He is working that car, and it's working exceptionally well. Meanwhile, keep your eyes on this battle for second. All of a sudden, Silk has closed it up. And when we say closed it up, just as it looks like it's a done deal, all of a sudden it quickly changes, and Ronnie Silk is again close, but not exactly where he wants to be.
Ben, we're coming up on the halfway mark of this race, and I want to see a head-to-head Ronnie Silk, Patrick Emmerling battle for this victory, and I think we're going to get it inside the next 25 laps. Silk is just on the move.
Certainly is, and there is the halfway marker coming out to the entire field. 100 circuits into the record books. Emmerling has been the dominant car. Beers has been a factor in second. Silk has worked his magic to come towards the front of this field. Meanwhile, more traffic is the story in a battle, and all of a sudden, young Luke Baldwin in the 5th position, well, he's all over Justin Bonsignore.
He made quick time of Kyle Bonsignore, had left Trevor Catalano in the dust, and the fastest race car on the track that isn't Ron Silk and Patrick Emmerling is Luke Baldwin, car number 7. And talking to him earlier this afternoon, he said, you know, I really enjoy the heritage of this race car. I love hearing stories about my grandfather. I've learned so much more about him through race fans that he had through the South, the Mid-Atlantic, and of course here in the Northeast. It's a history lesson every single weekend. And Luke Baldwin doing the family proud. 3rd-generation driver, tells the 4-time champion and 5-time race winner at Monadnock Speedway, see ya, I'm moving past you, and Luke Baldwin headed towards the front.
You know, Luke Baldwin started his career, you might think late, even though he's a youngster. He was an outstanding athlete in school. He said he wasn't really even interested in racing until he got out of high school. He says he's very competitive with his brother. All of a sudden, lap traffic could have been a problem there, but things worked out. Bonsignore saw that opportunity, and now he's closed back in on Luke Baldwin. Good battle. That is for the 4th and 5th position. And if you're wondering what's happening up front, well, the story for second is perhaps the story of the second half of the event. Why is that? Austin Beers is still there, but right on his back bumper, and he can reel him in almost at any given time. It is Ronnie Silk.
He is such a stalker. Stalker Silk off of turn number 2. They come up on the lap car of Tyler Berry, right on the tire tracks of Austin Beers, your most recent winner. Patrick Emmerling continues to lead this race. 7 different winners in the first 7 races. Will we see an 8th? We've got to go deeper in the field to see a driver who has not won this year, so it looks like we might actually just remain at 7, but there's still plenty of racing action to go. We're only 112 laps into this.
And we know we talked about so many of the teams and their strategy. Most of them said they were not going to run the first 100 hard. They were going to run the second half that way. All of a sudden, we are seeing that the second half, things are starting to change, and rather rapidly. Meanwhile, you might, trouble now. All of a sudden, Matt Hirschman's car, the Bar Harbor Bank machine, the Elite sponsored car, came to almost a screeching halt. He then put it back in gear, and you can see, it appears that the right front suspension may be a shock or something going down. So we're back under yellow. Caution number 3 here at Monadnock Speedway. And of course, caution's being brought to you with the lights on from Whelen Engineering, providing us with the safety lights. And look at that. You can see 4th of July was a week or so back, but this is not what Matt Hirschman was looking for or hoping for back in the 14th position when he's running. Jacqueline Drake is looking at car number 60 as he heads back behind the wall. Jacqueline?
Matt Hirschman. What a heartbreak for that 60 is going to come into the pits. They're pitted fairly far back, so the team's going to rush over there and see what they can do about these repairs. Definitely going to impact that he was the points leader for the Short Track Cup whenever they entered into today's event. All the teams also have now came over to the pit area, eager to get tires on those cars when we're 110 laps into this feature event.
So a lot of work going on backstage. You know, we were talking earlier today, and there is the Hirschman car. Whatever the situation or the problem was, it was an easy fix.
Isn't that?
However, now there is the green to send Hirschman back out in the competition here. You know, going into this event, the point standings is tight. Austin Beers, 284, just 10 points ahead of Justin Bonsignora. Now, here comes the parade of front runners, and it looks like, Andy Austin, we've got the cars that were running among the top 10, all heading in. Let's go back down to Jacqueline Drake.
Got our way down into the one pit area. The team said we're absolutely making a stop this time. Going to add a right rear straight to that car. They also just handed something over to Patrick. It looked like a radio cord, switching it out to that helmet. You'll see several other cars also taking that option, taking a look at the 16 of Ron Silk. Man, that car has been fast. Another right rear on him, and it appears a right rear on Austin Beers as well, rounding out our top three.
Well, it looks like two competitors that did hit their marks on the pit stop. Austin Beers, the one of Patrick Emmerling, and Ronnie Silk.
You know, I want to go back to Matt Hirschman in the number 60, just fighting all night here in the first 119 laps. It reminds me so much of Ron Silk a couple of years ago at this racetrack, where he was involved in seemingly every caution and his crew was relentless. They thrashed on the car, and you thought that maybe he would walk away with a 15th or 16th place finish. That didn't happen. Now, he didn't win that day.
That's right.
But that race, you just slave away, and he did claw. I forget the exact finish that he picked up that day, but that was the difference in him winning the championship that year. So it looks like we're going to go down to Jacqueline Drake with Patrick Emmerling and what happened with the one.
Yeah, just confirmed with that team that it was in fact a piece of tape that they handed over to them. So alluding to communication issues, trying to make sure that cord stays intact and secure so he can hear his spotter effectively.
So quickly, everybody starts to settle back in, and of course, a recheck of the lineup and so forth with it. You're looking at timing and scoring, and of course, it shows you 18 cars, of course, went and pitted on that last time, making some adjustments, tire changes. Remember, they can only do one tire and head in to the paddock area for that one tire change at a time. And of course, as we look at the field, we see some additional cars still in line and formation.
An update on a story we were talking about before the caution flag flew on the 8 different races and potentially 8 different winners as Matt Hirschman hits pit road. The highest running non-winner this year was Trevor Catalano running in 6th. The top 5 had all broken through to victory lane. That's how far you had to go if we were going to break this. We still can. There are 79 laps left in this race, but still, Trevor Catalano is one of those drivers looking for his first win this year.
He certainly is, and he's been close on so many times, has not had a lot of luck, and that's been pretty much the story on a lot of the times that he has been out of the hunt right towards the end of a race. Mechanical woes or just bad luck as it continues. And we're looking at our view from the paddock area. Jacqueline down there checking on things with the crew members and individuals that were strong in that last pit stop.
Here comes
and
Hirschman.
There comes Hirschman again. Let's go back down to Jacqueline Drake.
You just saw the 60 of Hirschman continue to come into the pit area to repair that 60. The team hard at work, but I wanted to confirm the 64 of Austin Beers as we were on the other side of the pit stall. This car actually did take a left rear, not a right rear tire. The team is very confident in that 64 and said that Austin feels extremely well about his chances going into this later half.
We just received some additional key information on the number 60 car. Matt Hirschman pitted. The rule is you can only change one tire. He pitted and changed 2 tires. The NASCAR officials caught that situation, brought him back in. He had to put the original tire back on and come back out. So it was a 1 tire change.
Green flag flies, and we're back underway with 76 laps into this race. And who gets the jump off of turn number 2? It looks like Austin Beers by an inch or 3 in turn 3, but can he hold it? No, Emmerling drifts up the racetrack and leads by a tire back into 1.
There's no question about it. Austin Beers tries to run the outside to work his advantage. Thinks twice of it. Dives to the inside. He'll move in, try to make the move on the bottom. Challenge is for the lead. Patrick Emmerling does a great job of holding off all the opposition. But look out, here comes Luke Baldwin. Luke Baldwin, car number 7, is now working over Austin Beers. Down the back straightaway, it is still Emmerling, but for how long?
They were looking for a spark in their season, and this just may be it. How well has Luke Baldwin adapted to this racetrack? As Austin Beers dives down to the inside, the young drivers go after Patrick Emmerling in turn number 4.
There's no question they come off the turn, back down the front straightaway. Things have settled in. Another factor, to the right of your screen, you will see also coming forward is the number 21 of Stephen Kopsick. Now, Austin Beers, remember, they changed a left rear. Everybody else changed the right rear. But it seems to be working. How well? Time will tell. It's still Emmerling holding off Beers, and here comes Luke Baldwin working his magic in the upside lane. Can he do it? No. He has to settle back in for 3rd.
We still have 70 laps left. Now 69 laps left in this race, and they're racing like it's the last 5 laps. What a dogfight in the lead.
Certainly is. And there, look a little further back. Bonsignore, now Ronnie Silk. And there is Stephen Kopsick right there with him. Good battle, 5 or 6 cars contending for the same airspace on the racetrack itself.
Kopsick is one. Oh, here comes Kyle Bonsignore, 3 wide, going into turn number 1. And it's Silk who gets by both of them. Give the advantage back to Ronnie Silk.
There's no question about it. Kopsick was a guy stuck right in the center of all that. He is not done yet. He is back up in the wheel. Here comes Catalano, also a big factor there as well. Catalano continues to run in the tire track of the number 21 car. Silk continues to hold off Kyle Bonsignore. Now Kyle Bonsignore makes the move to the inside, works it to the bottom. Kyle Bonsignore has moved in, picked up the 5th position, bouncing Silk back to the 6th spot, and Stephen Kopsick back in 7th.
Folks, we're going to do this again tomorrow afternoon. What a race. Stephen Kopsick, who is trying to be one of those drivers to break the record of 8 races and 8 different winners. He hasn't been much of a factor here tonight. And to the inside, it's Tommy Catalano and car number 0. Contact between those 2 drivers. What a save by Kopsick off of 2.
No question about it. Catalano, same can be said for him. Got loosened up. Meanwhile, here comes Tyler Ripkema, the blue bowler machine, also coming back to life. Look to the left side of your screen. Now, all of a sudden, Austin Beers has shaken off Luke Baldwin. He's now setting his sights on Patrick Emmerling. Emmerling has been the only leader so far. They come off the turn. They almost touch that time by. Look to the right side of your screen, and you'll see that battle with Bonsignore. Now you're looking at Silk, and right there with him, Stephen Kopsick.
It's an embarrassment of riches here for the USNE Duel at the Dog. Great battles all around the racetrack. You're watching 2 of them live on Flow.
Meanwhile, Kopsick to the right of your screen had to back out of it as Ron Silk had to settle back into position. Look at that left side, and you will see that Patrick Emerling, timing and scoring shows, .198 separates first and second. And then, of course, you're looking at that other battle between Silk, which is for 6th, with Kopsick there in 7th.
You know, Ben, I want to dig into something a little deeper here between the 1 and the 64. Are we seeing a bit of the changing of the guard in this division this year? Because consistently we are seeing the 1 and the 64 race a lot like Justin Bonsignor and Ronnie Silk did the last couple of years.
Meanwhile, we just saw Stephen Kopsick put that number 21 car around by passing Ron Silk. Kopsick is up to the 6th position. Silk drops back to 7th. Tommy Catalano and Trevor Catalano running 8th and 9th. Tyler Ripkema running in the 10th spot with car number 3.
I don't think the battle between Catalano and Silk is over. He was so close to bumping wheels with Silk last time, and then Trevor Catalano trailing those drivers. So it's a whole lot of Catalano behind Silk as they all battle down the front straightaway. This is an amazing race. This is one I think they're going to be talking about when we look at a highlight reel of 2025. This one has been full of not only drama, but great side-by-side racing, some physical action as well, and some great driving. Like, there goes Tommy Catalano again, refusing to give up on the inside, give the advantage to the 54.
He has a car that's working on the bottom. Silk drifts way up the racetrack, tries to bring it back down. If one Catalano can do it, why can't the other? He'll try to make the move. Can't do it, pulls back in the line. Here comes Ripkema. And there's Anthony Nocella with that number 17 car. Nocella has also worked his way just out of the top 10 in position number 11.
It's really nice to see Tyler Ripkema having a great run in that number 3. Back after a decent run at Lancaster, this old blue number 3 really been looking to turn things around for the 2025 racing season.
Take a look at the left side of your screen. There is the 1 car, the leader of the event. Comes up on lap traffic. Right behind him, it's a 3-car battle, and the 2nd place car appears is maintained about the same margin every lap by. But that's not the story for Luke Baldwin. The black number 7 New York moves in, takes over 2nd.
Big trouble.
We've
turn
got
number
a
2.
spin.
Looks like it's Craig Lutz in. No, that's Catalano.
Yep, Catalano car number 56, Trevor Catalano. Back end seems to snap around. This is our caution.
42 laps
4.
to go. And Trevor Catalano, last year's hero. Looks like we're going to.
You know, we want to point out, too, in case you missed it, Matt Hirschman on that last caution came in.
Here's the replay.
Yes, and let's take a look at this here before we go back there and take a look at that.
A little tight.
Gets a little, yep, and everybody tries to scramble to make it on by, and they do. No real severe damage done there. But Matt Hirschman put on 2 tires. You're not supposed to, only 1. The NASCAR officials made him come back in,
hey, we saw
take
that.
the tire off, and do that again.
Yeah.
And here is the 56 machine, as we said before.
You know, so 56 is on your screen. I looked at number 7 there of Luke Baldwin, seemingly at will, just making a move on Austin Beers. And that's a move that Beers has been making on everybody else the last couple of weeks. Getting back to the way that, I wouldn't say it's long enough to have been a rivalry yet, but the way that the 1 and the 64 have run together this year, they have been nearly inseparable in multiple events, and it's been at the front of the pack, a lot like Justin Bonsignor and Ron Silk the last couple of years, with Ron not running for the championship this year. Of course, that rivalry dissipated a little bit, and we haven't seen them thrash on each other nearly as much as we have in years past. But on your screen, Luke Baldwin, car 7, New York, riding right in front of Kyle Ebersol right now.
No question about it. And, of course, Luke Baldwin, 5th in the point standings, 27 points back. Now, that's not a lot of points when it comes to it, as setting back in that 5th position, Hirschman was fourth in the points going into this event. Craig Lutz was third. Justin Bonsignor was second, 10 points back. And Austin Beers was, of course, the point leader, up by 10. So now we're going to see exactly.
Everybody stays on the racetrack for right now.
So evidently everybody likes what they've got. And as we're looking at the scoreboard, laps to go, 38, and of course these laps do count. 162 is showing up on the board at this particular point.
So Silk rides in the third position on the racetrack. We're going to see, Silk is third, Baldwin back to fourth, and then there's the number 25. Boy, what a recovery for Brian Roby.
Brian Roby has been the silent one coming back to the front of this field. Remember, initially he was tagged and spun, brought out a caution, no fault of his own. He puts the Bar Harbor Bank machine. I'm not surprised at all. Robbie is an extremely talented driver, and this racetrack is the racetrack that he calls home.
You don't call
he loves it.
You don't call him the Sunapee Sandbagger for no reason
you
whatsoever.
Got it. And he is in the 6th spot. Anthony Nacella is shown up in 7th. Kyle Bonsignor back up to 8th. Craig Lutz in 9th. And Stephen Kopsik setting in the 10th position. Kopsik has been very impressive. He has been able to manhandle that car and avoid some, well, tough situations and serious situations with the number 21 car. So he's not done yet. And, of course, you know, there's the car that everybody is looking at, and that is car number 1. Of course, Patrick Emmerling, who has led the laps and most, if not all, of the laps in this event. And, of course, right behind is Austin Beers in 2nd and Luke Baldwin, the rookie.
And it looks like the 64 of Austin Beers is ready to pit.
So, the A-team ready for the action.
So with 36 laps to go, the sign is out.
And of course,
the bar is open.
Sure is. And Murph, his Irish racing heritage in operation. And now let's see what we're going to get here. If we're going to have takers. And yes, we are.
Oh, they did not waste any time.
They're all headed down. Jacqueline Drake looking at them as they come in, as we will check in with Jacqueline on what happens here. But
standing right here in the pit of the 64 of Austin Beers. A bit of mind games down here at the pit crews who weren't sure if they were going to come down, changing a right rear tire on that car. He had that available since he took that left rear earlier. No changes other than that, and back out onto the track he goes, as well as Patrick Emmerling and others. It's quite the energy down here. You can feel the tension with just 35 laps to go left in this feature. Who wants it more? Will it be Emmerling or Beers, or will we see a new winner tonight? They're hungry to take home a dog.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Now, Ben, I want to build on that. She said the tension is high. You can feel the energy. There's something about the duel with the dog tonight. And it has been electric, whether it was driver intros, whether it was the fan engagement. We have a large in-person crowd here tonight, and they are excited to watch.
And they're all going to be back here for sure tomorrow, because you can't afford to miss tomorrow when you've seen such great racing and a great race program here today.
I really think that this is going to be a tour race that is marked as one of the highlights of 2025 when all is said and done. And I think it will be pivotal in the 2025 championship. We have 16 races. This is basically the halfway mark.
Yes, it is.
And we have seen so much action. But coming out of this race, we go into the larger tracks for a while. So there are drivers who just want to get out of here with a good finish. And there are others who are like, I have to get where I can get it while I can get it because I don't run as well on the bigger tracks.
That is so true. And as we've said before, we're seeing that situation really kind of unfolding right before our very eyes here. And if you look at the scoreboard or timing and scoring, it currently has changed for the moment. And now, Jacqueline down in the pit of car number 7.
I want to highlight Luke Baldwin here, one of the cars that did not come down to pit. His father, Tommy, we've actually been standing side by side, and he is nervous, nail-biting, and directing Luke, hoping to get his first Tour win today.
Certainly is, and of course, Luke Baldwin is the car shown in position number 1. Tommy Catalano, as we go back to green, Luke Baldwin steps on the gas. What a nice crossover by Tommy Catalano. But here comes Patrick Emerling, up on the wheel and up on the outside.
And the key for Luke Baldwin is to take that lane away from Emerling. Otherwise, he's going to sail right around him. And he tries to do just that. Baldwin trips up the racetrack, but he cannot hold down both Catalano and Emerling going into 3.
There's no question Emerling tries to work his magic. Outside lane, slipped up the racetrack just a bit. Directly behind him, it is Tyler Ripka. They come together. Car number 1 along with Tommy Catalano.
Brand new players at the front of the field. Tommy Catalano. Last year it was his younger brother Trevor breaking through to victory. And then you have Tyler Ripkema. And where did Justin Bonsignor come from?
Kyle Bonsignor right there in that pack of cars as well. But it is still Luke Baldwin. First visit ever to this racetrack, looking to put his name in the record books. He still leads them. Now moving to the inside. Tommy Catalano, car 54, working its magic on the bottom, left the door open, and a brand new leader emerges. Third different leader of the event.
He just went out there and took it inside of turn number 1 last time around. And Tommy Catalano jumps back into the lead after a strong qualifying run at Lancaster and a decent top 10 finish. Catalano has really turned his season around in the last 8 days.
There's no question. And what about Tyler Ripkema? Less than 24 circuits remaining in this event. Tyler Ripkema is in second. Here comes Kyle Bonsignor. Bottom move to the inside. Kyle Bonsignor moves back into second.
And all of a sudden, Patrick Emerling is just an also-ran. The driver who led the majority of this race is battling to stay inside the top 5 with Ripkema to his second group. And now Justin Bonsignor down low. It's a dogfight for that spot in turn number 1.
While all that's been happening, Austin Beers has dropped back to the 8th position. Car 51, Justin Bonsignor works his way to the inside, picks up the spot. Tyler Ripkema looks strong just a lap or so ago, and here comes Ronnie Silk. Silk muscles his way down underneath Luke Baldwin. Ron Silk has worked his way into the top 6.
I never would have thought that Tommy Catalano would be the driver that we would be talking about 182 laps into this race. Yes, he has certainly been an accomplished driver. He's run in the top 5 from time to time, but to go out and take the lead like he did just a couple of laps ago is something we haven't seen in a long time. And Catalano with a head of steam. He's got Bonsignor on his tail as they work their way through 3 and 4. And then there's Ronnie Silk, and here comes Emerling.
There's no question about it. Emerling still is trying to make his presence known. 16 circuits and counting down. Tommy Catalano, will he make it and become the 8th different winner in this event? Tommy Catalano looking like the guy that has been a veteran, but he is really holding off the opposition, and all the big guns are loaded directly behind him.
The red 54 continues to hold it down. Kyle Bonsignor is stalking him with the confidence that we haven't seen in years. And don't count out Patrick Emerling. He is on the comeback trail. He has gone from the chase to the chasee. And here he goes into turn number 3 to the inside off of 4. Patrick Emerling trying to roar back to the front.
Can't do it this time. And then Justin Bonsignor setting back in the 4th position. So that's the top 4. Then we've got a side-by-side battle for the 5th spot. That was short-lived, and all of a sudden, up to the 5th position, Austin Beers. He has come back to life. and he is a competitor with less than 10 laps to go.
The best thing for Tommy Catalano would be Patrick Emmerling all over Kyle Bonsignor, because it seems like when they battle, Catalano can check out for a half car length or so, but now Bonsignor dives down to the inside. It's not going to be enough.
Not enough, trying everything. Here he comes again. Catalano doing a great job of holding on. Keeps it tight to the bottom of the racetrack. All of a sudden, it is Patrick Emmerling back underneath Kyle Bonsignor. Patrick Emmerling is back up to the second spot.
Ronnie Silk goes around in turn number 2. Brian Roby's around. There's another driver in the wall, and we are under yellow, and get ready for a short track battle on a Saturday night with just 7 laps to go.
And this is going to be the run here to the end, and it is going to be like, well, a big-time fight. All the gloves are going to be off.
It's going to be a KO.
Every man for themselves in this one. Caution flag came out for the 5th caution, and it was Mike Marshall who had a tire that's going down. But hats off to Tommy Catalano. Again, did a great job to take the lead. Once he's been there, he has really had to fight off what appears to be a nest full of hornets.
And he's doing exactly what his brother did. He's taken a play out of the playbook from last year. Trevor Catalano was not a factor until about the 3/4 mark. Due to strategy, he was able to stay up front and fight off a similar hard charge from Ronnie Silk. And now the older Catalano is doing the exact same thing.
And look at the back end of car number 54, USNE Power, among the sponsors of so many of the cars here. The official sponsor, Dave Miller Jr. And let's go back and take a look at last year's victory and what his brother did here. Brother rivalry at its best.
We have talked all about how Ronnie Silk was stalking the back bumper of Trevor Catalano. And look at him, right there.
You're seeing it right there. Then you see the 3 car directly there. All of a sudden, this is coming down to the wire in this one. There's the checker, and he did it. A great, great job to take down the victory. But will it be bragging rights again? And definitely a very deserving Tommy Catalano. No question how it ends at this point. This kid was up on the wheel every circuit and did a fantastic job throughout this event.
Tommy Catalano has finished 7th twice this year. He qualified 4th in this race last year, so he certainly knows his way around, Monadnock Speedway. And he's been around. We talk about Kyle Bonsignor and his 100th NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour start. He is making starts 97 and 98. This weekend. So,
you talk about the stats, and they just don't lie when you're looking at competitors of this nature and of this type. So, again, underneath yellow, looks like we're probably going to be going into overtime. Yes, that's the story. Again, the caution flag comes out from Whelen Engineering. First name in light sirens and safety services used throughout the world. Whelen Engineering. American made and proud of it. The official sponsors of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour.
Now, Tommy Catalano has had a pretty decent year. 3 top 10s already for 2025. So 3 in 8 races in a division this
pretty impressive.
Yeah, this tight. It's certainly been a good year, but this one could really catapult him to a different stratosphere.
Certainly could, and of course, as we said, we're going to be going into overtime as 198 clicks off on the board, and seeing right now, as we said, besides Tommy Catalano, Ronnie Silk isn't going to be counted out of this one by any imagination whatsoever as a factor, but not the factor that we were really looking for a few laps ago.
So last year it was Trevor Catalano breaking through to his very first NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour win. Could we see the exact same thing play out for the older Catalano here
Yes.
tonight. His best finish is Richmond back in 2022. That was a second. So he's been close to victory lane before, but it's hard to believe that a driver with 96 races under his belt and as accomplished as Tyler. Let me go to the other Catalano. Yeah, Tommy Catalano has been. He hasn't broken through to victory lane, so that's another reason why he's digging so hard tonight.
Certainly is, and don't count out Justin Bonsignore. We talked about his track record at this particular racetrack. He's been hanging around where he wants to be, in contention among the top 3 positions. And now we'll take a look at the points going in to tonight's event. Looks like this could change drastically. 10-point advantage, Austin Beers over Justin Bonsignore, and then Craig Lutz back in the 3rd position, 19 points back. Matt Hirschman having a tough day, 22 points behind in 4th. Luke Baldwin in 5th, leading rookie, 27 points off. And then it is Stephen Kopsick in 6th. Patrick Emmerling is 7th. 8th is Trevor Catalano. 9th is Kyle Bonsignore, and Tommy Catalano, the guy who's leading, of course, back in 10th.
3 races in 8 days. Let's go trackside to Jacqueline Draker in the pits.
Interesting fact right here of the number 1 of Patrick Emmerling, who's been strongest on the outside all evening and made the pass for the 2nd position right before the caution came out. Now lining up in that front row on this restart. Will that be the game changer here tonight?
Well, you know, everybody's holding on to the edge of their seats. This is what JDV Productions is all about. Presenting the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour in a dogfight right to the wire.
The outskirts of Buffalo might be shaking, but Patrick Emmerling wants to throw a dent in it. Car number 1 rockets to the lead. White flag out, 1 to go. He's sideways down the front stretch.
Down the front straightaway. White flag has been given. Final circuit. Down the back straightaway. Patrick Emmerling. Catalano on the inside. They almost come together. What an incredible finish.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you not entertained by that?
Unbelievable at the line and the scoreboard. Unofficial, but we've got another brand new winner, and that makes it
high five, Ben. We have broken the record. 8 races and 8 different winners. And there is number 8 on your screen, the red number 54.
You know, they say it's not won till the final circuit when you cross coming out of turn number 4 and cross at the start-finish line and get the checker. That story is so true. Tommy Catalano, Patrick Emmerling, was running as the leader, and then Tommy Catalano was able to fight back, never give up. And now another Catalano has bragging rights here at Monadnock and this facility and the real estate. Will he be back for another win tomorrow?
Oh, if momentum is anything, look out. These Catalanos certainly know. They brought 5 race cars to Lancaster between all the different divisions. Mom was running, all the Catalano brothers were running. And 1 week later, in victory lane in his 97th attempt at the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, a brand new winner, breaking the record, 8 different winners in 8 different races. And there he is.
Yep, and there's his brother over to congratulate him on a job well done. Unofficially, quickly, Patrick Emmerling will finish unofficially in 2nd. Kyle Bonsignore was 3rd. Justin Bonsignore was 4th. Austin Beers for 5th. Tyler Ripkema for 6th. Luke Baldwin for 7th. Stephen Kopsick for 8th. Craig Lutz is 9th. And Anthony Nutella will round out the top 10.
Let's take a look at this last lap.
Let's take a look. This last lap is going to go down into the record books. Green-white checker coming off the 2nd turn. Emmerling is out in front.
And I thought it was
by
done.
a car. Yep. Then all of a sudden, watch this. Emmerling gets a little bit loose. Here they come.
And that's what set him up, too. He never really recovered from that. He rocketed down the backstretch, but he went a little too hot in turn number 3. Catalano gave him a little jump, but he got loose himself right there on the outside.
And when they crossed the stripe, it was by far a .007 the margin between first and second, and you're looking at
look at that smile.
Tommy Catalano, and very deserving. The entire Catalano family. He'll be getting out of the automobile in just a minute. Down to Jacqueline Drake.
Race fans, when he comes out of this car, we want to hear you shout. And here he is, race winner today, Tommy Catalano! All his family coming in. His brother Trevor telling him, heck of a drive, Tommy. You're all smiles. That finish, you had everybody here up on their feet. Did you know that you were the winner when you crossed that line?
No, I wasn't really sure, to be honest with you. And we pit early and decided to stay out. We pit twice, but we were a little bit earlier than everybody else. And after practice, kind of set us behind the 8 ball there. My own misjudgment, and just to rally back. And I don't think I breathed the last 40 laps. And I didn't really want to get them like that into 3. I was hoping to just kind of move them up the hill a little bit. I got them a little freer, and everyone was kind of tight right there. Even the last however many laps, I know Justin was right on my bumper, and or at least I think it was Justin. But this is unbelievable, and doubleheader day. So hopefully we can do it again tomorrow. And I don't know, we'll see. I don't even know what to say. There's some people I got to thank. My mom and dad for all they do. My wife Allie. All my brothers for all their help, friends, family, USNE Power, David Miller, he's here today, so that's awesome. FX Caprera, Power Construction, just everybody back at home that helps that couldn't be here, and hopefully this isn't the last one.
You checked off a win in the 2025 column, and for the Tour, 8 different winners now in the last 8 races, breaking a statistic since 1999, and you were the guy to do it. What is the emotions that you're feeling in this moment? It's
just nuts. You see that, and you see all the people that have won so far this year, and if you said any of them were, the ones the second, win their second race, it wouldn't have surprised me at all. So to come here and do what we did is just, it's phenomenal. You start getting down thinking, hey, maybe it's not meant to be, and you just keep plugging away, keep at it.
Well, it was meant to be tonight. Tommy Catalano, your race winner in the 4th annual Duel at the Dog, presented by USNE Power. And tonight, the trophy will be presented by Mr. David Miller Jr. You alluded to him. We're going to come on over here, and you're going to get your own dog, Tommy Catalano, one of the coolest trophies here on the Tour circuit by far. Even has its own personalized collar and a little charm on the front of it. David is going to present that over to Tommy right here as he raises the dog. The battle tonight here at Monadnock Speedway. Incredible moment, and we'll take some photos. Additionally, we're going to have the race winner draw for our Hoosier Tire Shuffle. The number that he pulls out of the Hoosier Tire set will be the finishing number that he pulls out. This driver will win a free set of Hoosier Tires. Incredible gift. If you ask me, the driver who finished in the 20th position tonight will be winning those race tires from Hoosier. And back up to you guys, Tyler Berry was the driver that finished in 20th position. We'll send it back up to you guys in the booth.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Excellent work from Victory Lane. And boy, how close were they?
Unbelievable. And if we have the opportunity, we were going to take a look.
Take a look.
This is how close it was. And you can see it was just an unbelievable. Here they come off the turn, and right there at the stripe, they'll be talking about this one for many, many a season. There's no question about all of that.
That's Tour de France close. Look at that. Tommy Catalano deserving in his 97th Tour race to break through to Victory Lane. And as he alluded to in his Victory Lane interview, we get to do it all again tomorrow.
And if you thought today was good, can you imagine? Everybody's going to be preparing to do just that.
Looks like we're ready to get on trackside to Jacqueline, who has our second place runner.
Heartbreaking, standing right here next to Patrick Emerling. A dominant day you had, halfway leader, fastest. You led for the majority of the laps, but in that final corner, you had the lead and the advantage. Walk me through what happened and how it unfolded for you.
Yeah, I just have to give it up to the whole Fleetworks #1 team. Yeah, we had the best car today, and yeah, we led basically the whole race, and the whole team executed really good. We had a really good car, and we were doing exactly what we had to do, and we had the race won in the last corner, and just got smashed out of the way. Just smashed into the left rear. But I guess that's not the type of racing that I do, but I guess that's how it goes. But yeah, I just have to give it up to everyone involved here, Super Dal and Rich Gautreau and Tim Queen and just my whole family and everyone involved in this team. We did a heck of a lot. We just had a heck of a good run here, and we were the dominant car all day today. And yeah, it kind of stinks. We kind of lost 2 in a row there. Where I thought we had the best race cars on the track. So we'll, but luckily we have a redo tomorrow. So just really looking forward to that and just doing our thing and executing, and hopefully don't get smashed out of the way.
I was just about to ask, with this doubleheader, quite unique for the Tour, does that come into your mind when you think about tomorrow? And is there hard feelings with the winner?
Yeah, you know how racing is. I mean, you race others the way they race you, and that's just how it goes.
Patrick Emerling, the #1, going to come home in the second place position. And we're going to walk on over here and talk to Kyle Bonsignor. The number 22 also came so close, Kyle, to getting that lead. Quite the momentum your team has carried since getting that race win at White Mountain and then podium here tonight. What more did you need from that 22?
We needed to be a little bit better from the start of the green, or the initial start of the race, because when everybody else pitted and we stayed out, we lost probably 4 spots. And that was mainly just we got really squirrely by lap car getting past. So if we're a little bit better tomorrow, we'll be able to kind of hang with the 64, that speed, and be better when it comes to the pit stop. We've made some great pit stops and had some great calls. So the car was great after the pit stops. We drove back up to the front, just couldn't get around the 54. And I couldn't have pulled back out to the outside and passed them because the 1 and the 51 were lined up behind me. So it was really close at the end. Luckily, we sneaked out a third. So it's another good finish. We'll go to Tech and hopefully be back a little bit better tomorrow.
Absolutely. Congratulations to you. Our top 3 tonight, Tommy Catalano, your race winner in the 54, followed by the 1 of Patrick Emerling and the 22 of Kyle Bonsignor, rounding out our podium.
All right, thank you very much, Jacqueline from Victory Lane. And, she asked a very pointed question to Patrick Emerling, and I had almost forgotten we were doing this again tomorrow, even though we had just said that. And the storyline that builds tomorrow, will there be payback? Will there be payback, Patrick, tomorrow afternoon after you've had a night to sleep on it?
There's an old saying that says, well, rinse and repeat. Well, for some competitors, a repeat win would be the ideal story. But for other competitors, they're going to have the opportunity to do and try it all over again.
Folks, we've had a great night here of racing. If you're part of our in-person crowd, we ask that you clean up around you, as we do have a quick turnaround for tomorrow's race. We talk about this being the first of 2 races, and we ask that you clean up after yourself tonight
as well. And don't forget, more stops just around the corner on August 6th, Thompson Speedway. Of course, the Motorsports Park event for the Whelen Modified Tour. August 14th, the running of the Richmond Raceway event. August 30th, Oswego Speedway. Back to Riverhead for September 6th, and New Hampshire International for the month of September on the 20th. Well, there's no question, a full day of racing. All the divisions performed to perfection. But there's one man, and, well, he was the guy that might have been a long shot going in, but when it all came down from green to checker, we had another winner.
8 different races, 8 different winners, and Tommy Catalano adds his list, and we break the record here tonight. We're doing it again tomorrow at 3:15.
Come join us and be a part of all of this from Monadnock Speedway.
To Tommy right here as he raises the dog. The battle to